really happens when you drop off your car at the auto repair shop. Are you being taken for a ride? Our camera's rolling tonight, and Gio Benitez catching some mechanics right in the act.
Stephanie Wash is making the drive that every vehicle owner dreads, a visit to the auto mechanic to fix a problem under the hood. But in this case, Stephanie is actually an ABC News producer, and her Infiniti SUV has been equipped with an optional accessory, our hidden cameras. 2020 is going undercover at auto repair shops to see if what our confessor says is true, that there are way too many mechanics out there who are willing to take advantage of their customers by doing unnecessary repairs.
You're a bit at the mercy of whoever's opening up your hood and looking at it.
Joe the mechanic should know. He's been fixing cars for more than 40 years. We've agreed to put him in a disguise with Hollywood makeup and not use his real name. In exchange, Joe agreed to tell 2020 about the dirty little secrets of his trade. Joe says there are even special names for these transaxle transgressions, like gravy work, which means billing the customer for much more time than a repair job actually takes.
Like a brake job. Most shops will charge an hour and a half to 2 hours to turn the rotors, put pads on it. If you're good and got good equipment, you can do it in 20 or 30 minutes. That's gravy.
You're doing it in less time, but you're getting extra money for it. Joe says another inside trick that some mechanics use is the so-called wallet flush, where a routine oil change can turn into something much more expensive.
An $18 oil change. Well, they lose money on that. So the idea is to get you in so they can sell you the coolant flushes, trans flushes, power steering flushes. That's where the money is.
In other words, if you're flush with cash, get ready to be hosed.
It's real easy to check the transmission fluid. This is actually very clean, but I've seen recommendations for flushes on fluid that looks like this.
Joe says what drives all of this is the tiny profit margin at many repair shops. He says most mechanics are honest, but all too many are pressured by their bosses to push unnecessary work. He used to do it himself.
I'm ashamed a bit to admit it, but when your boss tells you either you do it here or the door's right there, what are you going to do? Now, I need a job. Everybody needs a job.
Getting back to the tricks of the trade, Joe says one of the most common and profitable ways to jack up a repair bill is exploiting fears over the check engine light, affectionately known by some in the trade as the idiot light.
It's expensive. That's the people are afraid of the check engine light.
You see that check engine light, you say, oh my gosh, something's wrong with it. You go to the mechanic, and really, it could be anything that's happening in here, right?
Oh, yeah.
That brings us back to our hidden camera test with Stephanie and her SUV. We wanted to see if mechanics would try to take advantage of her over that so-called idiot light. But first, Stephanie takes her Infiniti to two highly rated mechanics to ensure her vehicle will be in perfect working order.
This car is road ready. Absolutely nothing wrong.
Ace mechanic Audra Forden comes up with a simple plan to test how mechanics will handle our check engine light.
So what we're going to do is disconnect the mass airflow sensor.
She simply unplugs this cord connected to the mass airflow sensor, which makes the check engine light go on. Audra says a diagnostic scan, which can cost from $50 to $100, will quickly detect the problem. We hit the road, taking Stephanie's Infiniti to auto repair shops in New York and New Jersey.
Good morning. I have an appointment.
Fixing the check engine light was a no-brainer for this shop, Quality Auto in Belleville, New Jersey. They quickly spot the problem and simply plug the cord back in. They don't even bother charging Stephanie for their time.
Took all 15 minutes. How you charge everything?
Now check out what this manager tells us at the Firestone Repair Shop in Montclair, New Jersey.
Hi. Good.
His technician says our mass airflow sensor is filled with carbon and needs to be cleaned. He recommends a fuel system cleaning for an extra $99.
The car is going to run a lot smoother, more efficient, and it will prevent this from happening again.
But our hidden camera shows the technician is able to locate what's really wrong with the car. Here, he plugs in that loose wire and closes the hood. Still, he tells us he did an extensive cleaning of that mass airflow sensor.
Did you guys clean inside there?
Yeah, I had to open it all up.
When we later contacted the shop, that manager tells us he was shocked. The corporate headquarters told us it is unacceptable to us if misleading, incomplete, or inaccurate information was presented at our Montclair location, and they are investigating. That brings us to this repair shop, Monty's in North Babylon, New York.
Hi, I've called. My service engine light's on.
Our hidden cameras show that Monty's fixed the actual problem seconds after opening that hood by plugging that loose wire back in. But all of a sudden, the mechanic tells our producer she should replace the entire mass airflow sensor, stripping her wallet of more than $300. Maybe we should call this place the Full Monty.
I'm trying to scare you, but I let you know from the beginning. Those parts are so expensive.
But there's good news. The mechanic then suggests a less expensive fix. He can take the sensor apart and fix it for the bargain price of $190.
$190, I can remedy the problem.
When we return to pick up the vehicle, the mechanic proudly shows Stephanie their work, saying the sensor has been taken apart and fixed and that the engine is sparkling clean to boot.
So what I do, I open it and go one by one, cleaner, you know.
Okay.
I should make a video, so I'll show you the video.
Oh wait, there is video. When we check our hidden cameras, we discover that Monty's never even touched that sensor they said they would take apart. We did get a quick spray and rinse of that engine, and of course our loose wire was plugged in.
Gio Benitez with 2020.
Time to get some answers, so we returned to Monty's for a little heart-to-heart.
You said you took apart the sensor and you actually didn't do anything.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't? You want to see what the video says? Because you never actually took it apart. There was a hidden camera watching every single moment. And all you did was you sprayed it.
No, you know what? You get the camera off.
He now says another mechanic did the actual work. That mechanic later told us all he did to fix the problem was plug the wire back in, and he said there must have been a break in communication. The Automotive Service Association says the majority of the service repair industry is ethical and only charges the consumer for necessary work.
Most mechanics are honest.
Our expert mechanic Audra agrees. Still, she says you should always question your estimate and get a second opinion if you're skeptical. By the way, if you think it's only women who are vulnerable to shady mechanics, think again.
Women are preyed upon because it's assumed that they don't know anything. When in fact, the dads of today don't know very much about cars either.
And she has some very simple advice. Read your owner's manual.
That would solve a lot of problems because you would have confidence. Why do people take advantage of you? Because you don't know. Don't let them.